Welcome back to 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. Today's album is Lost in the Dream by American indie rock band, or indie rock band, called The War on Drugs. Now, if it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, you're right. Because I'm from Australia, this is one of those probably many bands that I'm going to come across in 1001 Albums Generator that I've never heard of. They'd never made it to Australia. If they were played there, I didn't hear it. And I tried to diversify myself. I tried to listen to the commercial stations as well as in Australia, Triple J, which would be known to play this. So if they did, I missed it. They didn't play it much, or I just wasn't listening at the time they were playing it. Now, this came out in 2014. It is their third album. Sadly, little bit of research I did is that this album was on the back of a tour and written, I believe, during a tour where the lead singer, and who's the main songwriter, he's known as Adrien Grandouciel. Sounds French. That's his stage name. But he was going through, apparently it was clinical depression that he had, and this album is a result of that time that he went through. So with that in mind, I've got to say, it's not what I was expecting to hear. Just with researching a little bit about that, I was a little bit surprised. Positively surprised. Anyway, that's who they are, The War on Drugs. Some of you watching probably already know them, know this album quite well. This is probably my third time listening to this. So let's start off with Under the Pressure. I just want to jump in before the singing starts. I didn't mention what it is I'm surprised about. A lot of these songs have a very upbeat tempo. They do have melancholy lyrics and a kind of melancholy sound to them, but I feel like that the tempo of songs makes them more uplifting. I find that they do anyway. You're more likely to listen to them when you're exercising and so forth. I thought that's an interesting take, given his state and given what I believe a message maybe he was trying to convey. I'm not sure how this happened, but I think this is a good combination.
Well, the come down here is easy, like the arrival of a new day. But a dream like this gets wasted without you.
yeah, it's a pretty long song, but that's cool. Like this day and age, people wouldn't dare do that because worried nobody will listen to it. And the intros of songs these days are so short. Where this is still the old school way where they were doing long intros. So we'll move on to the next song, which is called Red Eyes. Like the energy of this song as well. I didn't mention the other one. I was just so sucked into listening to the song, I didn't make many comments about it. But that sounds like you could just imagine them at a stadium playing that. The way that sounds, it doesn't sound like they're in a studio. I love the way that that's recorded there, and it goes from a sort of low to all of a sudden boom, full of energy. All these instruments, everything sounds really good. There's some really cool sounding guitars. The drums sound really nice and full without go over the top. They sound a little natural as well. The singing's great as on top of that. Good lyrics and everything. Yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah, that's a really good song. I love the dynamics of that. This is going to be one tough video to edit because I always try to keep it short. I don't want to just record the whole album all the way through and just leave it. It makes the video too long. I always try to capture the elements of each song on an album without leaving anything out, which is, you wouldn't believe how hard that is to do. So moving on to Suffering. this I personally think this kind of songs are harder to do than all the fast ones. And the top musos that I listen to say the same thing. They're harder to play, they're harder to write, and they're harder to make sound good. And there's a lot of instruments happening here and there, guitar coming in here and out. There's bass, obviously the slow drums, and it's done so sparingly. And also, those lyrics as well. I just showed them just briefly. You might have to pause to read those. And the song just sounds so sad. So, look, I really appreciate this guy didn't just try to make the whole album like this. I think that gives you a really good idea about what that song's about. And yeah, hopefully you also heard the lovely piano through there. And then all of a sudden this, in your face solo just starting to happen there. That's definitely worth listening to. So moving on to the next track, An Ocean in Between the Waves.
Try to redefine everything that I know and love. Gotta know your mind.
just as I was listening to that song, I was noticing that all of the songs so far have a similar kind of a structure, which is a long intro that slowly builds, followed by a chorus, then verse and chorus, but solo in the middle of all of that. Yet they all sound quite different to each other. Yeah, there's three of them there that have a very similar tempo, a very similar drum beat at times, but they all do. They've got their own sound. Just think about how hard that is to actually do. So we'll go on to Disappearing. Some nice delay on the drums there. Nice guitar solo at the start of the song. Again, we've got another slow song. Well, it's slower than the previous one, but not as slow as the other, that Suffering song. Yet this one is one of those ones where, just like that third song, where all the instruments, it sounds like they're all trying to stay out of the way of the vocal, and they're being very sparing with the guitar and any pianos. They all sound so, the tone of it all is just so silky and smooth. Synth over the top.
I was home when you came, threw me out of town, and took away from the cold in your arms. Now I wait for my turn to let it blow against me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Will you wait for the one to disappear?
Such a cool sounding song. Look, it's just one of those, I just really admire people who can make music this way, the way that sounds. It's, I suppose that's typical of indie music, isn't it? That they're not going the commercial route, trying to make a short intro, trying to verse, chorus, pump it out. A lot of those songs start with the chorus. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but they're all, a lot of them are mainly just going for, what's going to sell, what's going to get interest. Whereas this seems more like it's more about the art to me. And moving on to Eyes of the Wind.
I met you, and I fell away again. Like a train in reverse down a dark road, carrying the whole load, just rattling the whole way home. Have you fixed your eyes to the wind? Will you let it pull you in again on the way back in? I'm a bit run down here at the moment. Let me think about it, babe. Let me roll it.
That's a great tune as well. I'm getting a vibe, like a Bob Dylan vibes, like he's singing a little bit like Bob Dylan, and also some of the music, it's like a little bit of a country vibe, but also somehow it reminded me of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Don't ask me why, I can't even tell you what it is I'm getting that's making me say that. So we're on to The Haunting Idol. Oh, okay. That's obviously an instrumental track. As I said, I've been listening to this in the car, so somehow that just got by me. I must have, because I'm not looking at as the songs change. I'm busy driving, especially here in Finland when the roads are trying to kill you. So, yeah, that was cool though. It lived up to its name, and again, very daring. Like, I just couldn't do it. I just, if I had to try to, you said make an instrumental track with just some synths and some guitar and make it last for whatever is it, over 3 minutes, and make it sound interesting. I couldn't do it. So then we're up to Burning. Sounding a little bit like The Haunting Idol. Maybe they've recorded it so it sounds like it continues on, which did fool me. Might have been what happened. That tune there, that da, 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 that is some song from the 80s. I can't think what it is. It will come to me, I promise you. Let's try camera 2. Here we are. We'll play Lost in Dream. The Dream.
Lost in the dream, or just the silence of a moment. It's always hard to tell. Down in the way, they cut it open and they sold it. It's always hard to tell. I saw a soldier man, and he looked his eyes like they were rings. Ooh, but it's hard, I can't resist. You may risk it all, you'd risk it all for the memory. But it's living under your skin. Love's the key to the things that we see. And don't mind chasing. Leave the light on in the yard for me. Whoa.
I'm sure you can hear what I'm talking about when I say that he sounds a little bit like Bob Dylan. I'm not saying he's completely ripping off, but surely you can hear it in that vocal delivery. Back to camera 1 for In Reverse, the final song. Just imagine being at the beach listening to this. If that's not the beach I can hear, I'll be pretty surprised.
You've been out in the street, talking about the war with me. In the background is a night. Don't wanna hesitate. Well, they tell me where you're hiding, but through the haze there's no one there. wondering if you care. Calling out your name in the darkness. When I'm done with my time here, I'm a keepsake stroll through the railways, but I never mind going. And I realize now that the room is bare, and I hear all through the grand parade. You're disappearing, 'cause I know you can be found, maybe living on the dark side of the street. Damn, when we're living in the moment and losing our grasp, making it last with a grand. Sometimes I wait for the cold wind to blow, as I struggle with myself right now, as I let the darkness in. But I don't mind chasing you through the back ways for the keys. It evaporates and fades like a grand parade. Disappearing when I know you can be found, when you're living on a dark side of the street. We're just living in the moment, making our path, losing our grasp through the grand parade. Like a light that's drifting in reverse, I'm moving.
Well, if you're still watching this, I know this has gotten very long, and I've let that song play all that way because, well, first of all, that's the longest intro I've ever heard before singing started. I thought this song was an instrumental track again that I'd not noticed, and that intro took such a long time to build to get to that point as it was. And the reason, and I haven't edited, I'm not going to edit that as long as it is. The reason I'm not is because it kept changing. So if you notice, if you go back and listen to any other songs, you'll notice when you'll hear fade-ins and fade-outs in the middle of songs. That's where I've edited, of course. I'm sure you realised. But what I've done there is, look, if there's a section that's this long that repeats over and over, I'll cut it down so that there's only one part of that. So you still get to hear those elements of the song without having to hear it repeated 5 times. But that song, it just kept changing so much. I felt like that, even though I'm recording, I'm not editing right now, I'm recording to the camera. I didn't feel that I've decided as I was doing it that I was going to let it play until I felt like it was changing back to the start again, but it never did. So that's where we ended up. And as I said, even though it seems like I haven't listened to it at all, I promise you I have. I've only done a couple of reaction videos, probably out of pure laziness. And one of them bit me on the backside when I used to do ratings. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, I've now, as of yesterday's video, the album by the band Air. After that one, I decided, no, I'm not doing ratings anymore, even though the album a day generator asks for them. I don't need to share that with everybody. And I made the comment of should be uploaded by now on YouTube. I've edited and re-uploaded the video about. I made the decision to edit the end of it and take away the rating because I was starting to sound like an old music critic, knowing full well that some of the critics in the past, even now, everyone wants to be a critic of something and criticize art in some way. I don't want to be that person. So that's why I'm not doing ratings anymore. I'm just going to do what I've just done. Play an album, play the songs on it, try to point out some of the cool things you may not have noticed, talk about how great it is. If it's not that great, I'll try to hide it. I'll just try to, keep it about music. I think after I made the video, the edit, where I have commented about music critics, in the past getting it wrong majorly, like Led Zeppelin 4 album, saying that it was terrible. Look at it, it's still popular. Then I thought of someone like Dean Baldwin, who I don't know whether he calls himself a music critic, because he's got me into so many albums, so many artists, just by talking about it, and I've never heard him say a bad word about a musician. All he does is promote music. He's a radio host. He has his own, he's got YouTube and TikTok. He's quite big on TikTok and all these platforms. He's very, very well known. If he calls himself critic, sorry, Dean, to say, I don't want to be like you. I don't consider someone like him like those critics from the past that would just talk shit about artists. I don't know, just to try to sell newspapers or whatever, magazines, whatever it is they were selling at the time. Anyway, so that was really good. That was a breath of fresh air. I know it's 10 years old now, but it doesn't sound like everything that's on the radio now. And that was another thought I will share. As I was listening to that last song, I thought to myself, oh, this is something I would never hear on the radio. Right, and I don't mean that it's a good thing. It just wouldn't. Even here in Finland, they're a lot more liberal about what they'll play on the radio. Here, they'll play metal on a normal radio station, and rock and pop and all sorts of different music, old music, new music, you name it. They're very liberal. Even here, they wouldn't play that because it's too long and it just takes too long to get going for the listening audience of a radio, which is sad. But this is what I say about albums. Get into listening to whole albums of artists and think of this, if there's a single released by an artist, see that as a signal to you to go and listen to the album, because the single will have ended up on the radio or somewhere popular, like TikTok even. And that's what the job of that single is to draw you to this, to the album, and then give that a go. So let that be a thought for you. Anyway, as usual, thanks for watching. Sorry this one is so long.